opinion of Cumberland Advisors' David Kotok, who's with me now. David, I just loved when I read that. You wrote that a couple of weeks ago. Everybody's going crazy with this fiscal cliff. What do you mean it's a piece of fiction?
Oh, enough already. I don't want to use it anymore. Let's call it a XYZ or something, this fiscal cliff nonsense. They created it. The Senate and the House and the President created the deadlines. They created the law, and now they're wringing their hands over their own creation. The debt limit, too, they create. You could have an infinite debt limit. Is any Congress ever going to say, no, no more debt, and we have a mass default? No. So we go through these political machinations, and we all wring our hands, and the markets have to grapple with it. It's unnecessary. However, it's our system. To paraphrase the so-called Winston Churchill attribution, which he did not say, but he did quote someone else. Democracy's the worst system of government, except for all the others.
Well, it's interesting because from the investor perspective, right, every day you hear, well, markets are, being held hostage because we want to see what happens in Washington. Nobody can make any decisions. Investors, businesses. I mean, is that a bunch of hooey?
Well, I don't know. So look, I sat with a client. The client says, how do I plan a trust for my grandchildren? What's my tax rate going to be? Do I make this charitable gift? If it's appreciated property, what will be the rule? Don't I want to wait till next year when the tax will be higher? How do I know I'll be able to? Well, my answer is I don't know. I can't tell you. So, to the extent you have to make a decision in the near term, you're really stymied here. If you're a businessman and you have to make a business investment decision, you have the same issue. But if you take a view that says, all right, we're going to go through this mess, and at the end of the day, there will not be a mess. There'll be some new mess, and we'll keep right on going. The GDP will grow, the incomes will rise, we'll get out of the malaise, and when we do, markets will be higher. That's how I see it.
You're pretty darn bullish on stocks. What is driving your optimism in terms of stocks, and what are investors missing out on?
The election said the Bernanke monetary policy's in place for 4 more years. And Obama will appoint to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors those who agree with it. And the Senate, he gained strength in the Senate, will confirm them. So what can you say about monetary policy? You can say the short-term interest rate is going to be near zero for 3-4 more years, maybe longer, but not a lot shorter. And the long-term interest rate is going to be 1.5 or 2 Treasury rates. Under those circumstances, the stock market with a yield above 2, with a growing, slowly growing GDP, is a very desirable alternative, and stock ownership is 1/3 versus 50% in household distribution, according to the last flow of funds, 37% versus 50%. So the stock market looks very appealing to me.